Hi everybody. So we're going to answer another question here and it's from Nina Clark. So hi Nina, if you're watching. Nina requested, would you do a video on how you deal with social events with your diet? For example, at work when everyone gets together for a potluck or at a barbecue or going out with friends and coworkers for lunch, etc. Thank you. And I most certainly can do that, guys. My personal opinions on the subject matter here because I know this one in particular is like a big one in the raw vegan health community because you guys, all you guys know that we're, as human beings, we're social creatures. We want to be around people. We want to be accepted by other people too. And I feel like, well, I know that God created us to be social creatures, to be around other human beings and to have friends, and that's all part of health too, is having taking care of that social side of health for for us as human beings and everything, because we want friends. We want friends in our lives, and we need friends in our lives, and we need social interaction and communion in our lives too, and because that is a big part of health. And that's one thing, that's one thing I've noticed, and I've kind of always kind of hated too, is how whenever we get together with friends or especially coworkers or at work or even with family members, it's always centered around food. It's always centered around food. And that's one thing for me. Even before I went raw, I always wondered, why in the darn world do we always have to include food when we get together? Why do we always have to eat? Why do we always have to find a place to go out to eat? Why can't we just go for a walk? Why can't we just go to a park and just talk? Why can't we just do other things other than center it around food? Because for me in particular, you guys, the way I really like to live life and everything is I understand life is much more than just food. And I am not someone who wants to be eating all darn day long. I don't want to be focused around food all darn day long. And every time I get together with somebody or talk with someone, I don't want food included. And because for me, when you eating is a whole event in itself. I mean, I know just by changing your health, just the act of eating and feeding your body is something that needs to be, I believe, done where you're focusing on your food and really being in tune with your body, not talking at the same time and because you're distracted. For me, you guys, that's how it's hard for me, because I'm like, when I am like, even with family and everything, I really don't. I have my food, like if it's at dinner time and I'm hungry, but everybody's talking, I won't eat because I'm focusing on what other people are what they're talking to me, what they're saying to me, so I can respond back. And I'm someone who wants to focus on my food, and it's hard for me to I guess do multitask, eat and talk at the same time. Usually what happens is everybody finishes eating and then I haven't even really touched my food, because I mean, we're talking, we're communicating, that's a whole event in itself. But now I want to focus on my food. But I'm someone who really kind of likes to be in my own little corner, especially when it comes to eating. I really want to just have my own space. I just want my own space, and I just want to focus on my food. And so, and that's another thing in social situations, especially at work too. I am someone who just wants to be in the back of the room in my own little corner, and I just like to listen, watch and listen. I don't like to be mingling. I don't like to be in the center of attention at all. And I just like my quiet, peaceful corner. That's just Miss Stacy, guys. That's just how I am. That's another thing, is when I'm in social situations, my stomach, I am not hungry. My stomach feels like it's in knots because I don't want to be in the social situation. So it's hard for me to eat at all. So that's why I really kind of don't even finish my food or touch it, because I can't eat. I can't eat because I'm not I'm not calm inside, and my stomach feels like it's in knots because I don't want to be in the social situation to begin with. So I know when the barbecues come about, or lunch comes about with in a social situation, the first thing I most definitely think about is what type of dish I can bring. And of course it's going to be a raw dish, but there's a lot of times where I don't contribute anything, and but there are times that I do contribute also. And because that's one thing I've noticed, is that a lot of people, even though if you do contribute something, a lot of people actually don't eat what you bring. And because everybody is so, or everybody and a majority of people, they're so still accustomed to animal products and processed foods and those high toxinated, chemical laden foods, that just keep you addicted, all the bad foods. So when they taste a raw dish, or they taste raw fruits and vegetables, they don't enjoy it and they don't eat it at all. And that's another thing, is I remember some of the dishes that I would contribute in the past, I would see it on people's plates, but then afterwards I'd look at, I'd kind of just not watch them, but I mean, it would come to my attention, and then I'd kind of look in the trash bins, and there's most of my dish, my raw dish that I made, nobody ate it. If I do contribute, I try to bring something sweet, like dates, or just a general fruit and vegetable tray, because people will eat fruits and vegetables, but not a whole lot. They just pick at it and everything. But I usually try to bring something sweet and creamy, because then that's something they would go after. But I most definitely believe that it's good to contribute something too. So that's what I try to do. I don't do that all the time, but I try to. But I know either way, I always bring my own food. I don't go up to like at work, if there's a potluck or barbecue, of course they're making hamburgers, hot dogs, they got the chips, they got the donuts, cookies, they got all that stuff out. Or if it's a chili cook-off or whatever, they got all that stuff. And I don't even go up to the table or anything to pick anything, because there's nothing to pick from but my own dish, if I do bring my own dish. So I just bring my own food. So I just have my own little bit of food with me. And of course that's when comments come up. That's when people start questioning you, and then that's how people kind of find out. Because that's one thing, is I don't say a word, I don't say anything to anybody about the way I eat at all. And it only comes about when people ask me directly. And because I'm not forcing my ways on anybody, I don't want to. I'm not trying to make anybody go raw or whatever. If people are interested, I'll tell them, and these are the reasons why, if they ask me, and then I just leave it at that. Otherwise, I just am focused on just trying to keep myself together, keeping myself together inside. And when I'm in social situations to begin with, I'm already like, ugh, like, no, and I'm just already like tensed up to begin with. And then I know when I went raw, it just got even worse, because now I'm really the odd man out. Now I'm really the elephant in the room. Now I'm really the one that people are gonna like nail, and that's what happens. And there's people who really joke about me and about the way I eat, and there's some people who literally take the junky food and they shove it in my face. And then they don't literally, there's been a couple people in my past who have actually done that to me. And it makes me think, my goodness, I respect each and every one of you guys to the fullest, and I don't force anything on you. Why do you guys have to do this to me? And that's kind of what I think inside and everything. But you know what, I just like, you forgive and forget, and you move on. Because that's one thing, is I always turn to God. He's the one that helps me to get through social situations, because I believe God created me to be someone who just likes to be an individual by herself, just me and God. just me and God. And so going through these social situations is a very hard thing for me in my life, and I always focus on God, and he gets me through. Of course, I most certainly don't want to go through a lot of the situations, but I go to them because I know it's good to go to him and everything. But you always come across those people who really respect you for what you do, and yeah, they may not agree with you what you do or how you eat and everything, but they leave it at that. And those are the people I gravitate to. And especially when I'm in social situations, those are kind of the people I talk to, because they respect me, and because I respect them, I respect everybody, and I just want to be treated like how I treat other people, and if anything, I build people up like you wouldn't believe. Like I don't say anything bad or anything, and I don't want to. I just want everybody to be happy, everybody to be happy and good. And I just hate it when people come after me, or when they come after you about the way you eat and everything. But that's one thing, is here comes the comments. Oh, they hit you. Just let them float on by, and you forgive and forget. And again, that's kind of what I was gonna mention, is that's what God, I know in the Bible, talks about, is it's good to learn to forgive and forget and move on, and don't let those arrows that come at you in life, don't dwell on them, because it steals your peace. It steals the rest and the happiness inside, and it stresses you out and actually plays a toll on your health too. So when those arrows get shot at you, you just let them float on by, and like, oh, okay, wow, all right, let's move on. And I know for me, I most definitely get a lot of looks and stares from other people, and that's again very hard for me, because I hate the attention on me, but I just like, that's just the way I am. That's part of life too, and you just have to just like focus on not caring. Like, just don't care about what other people think, or what they think, or what, if they're looking at you or anything. And because when it all comes down to it, they're not really, you don't know what they're thinking. Most likely they're all focused on their food. They're focused on what's going to happen next in the day, what's going to happen after the gathering, or what they're going to eat for later on tonight, or if they're going to movies, or if they're going to be getting together with somebody else, or if somebody's passed away in their family. You don't know what they're thinking or what they're going through or whatever, so you can't really assume stuff like that. And usually we kind of bring all that up on ourselves, and we actually let Satan see. I kind of go to a spiritual aspect, because that's kind of how I see life. That's how I see life ever since I became raw and full-fledged a believer in God and Jesus and everything. I see life differently, and I see the spiritual side of it, and I know Satan is behind trying to get you worked up and bringing those thoughts to your mind. Oh, everybody's looking at you, you're the odd man out and everything. Don't let those thoughts get to you, because that's what steals your peace, and you don't let Satan overcome your life like that. And so that's kind of how I view it. There's been some pretty interesting comments that I have gotten in the past that would happen in front of everybody, and I just felt like crying. And I'm like, why do people have to do this? And I remember there was one situation where it was within the first year that I went raw, there was a gathering, a potluck at work, and I brought bananas. I brought just bananas, and I had them chopped up in a bowl, and it was just a big bowl of bananas. And I was sitting there, and some of the ladies who normally talk to me and everything came next to me, and they're like, and the first thing one of the ladies said is, "Are you kidding me? Really?" And I'm like, yeah, she couldn't believe I was eating a big bowl of bananas, just bananas. And her tone and the way she said it put me on the spot, because everybody was looking at me and everything. So I'm like, oh, here we go again. And then you just kind of roll with it, and you just let it go. But there's been so many situations where people, they also say, oh, Stacy, why are you eating breakfast food right now? So you don't eat breakfast food right now. And fruit is not breakfast food. Fruit is our main meal, you know, especially when you when change your health and you know raw is it and everything. You know fruit is your main meal all the time. And so I kind of just let stuff go, and when people joke, I kind of go along with the joking and everything too. And this is another thing that I think about a lot is, even though there's a lot of pressure, peer pressure or social pressure that we feel when we're in social situations and everything, you don't let anything stop you from doing what you want to do for yourself. Just remember that nobody can force you to eat what you don't want to eat. Nobody can force you to do what you don't want to do. And that's one thing that also really helps me get through social situations and to kind of just do it more comfortably, is know that nobody can force me to do anything. Nobody can force me to eat something I don't want to eat. It's just that initial confrontation that's the hard part. And once you actually go through it, a lot of people respect you, and they start respecting you. And each time that you constantly tell them no, and you still do your thing, people actually eventually start changing their ways because they start seeing your examples, and then they eventually start to want to change themselves. So that's one thing I always like to think about too, is that a lot of people, they don't understand what I've personally been through. They don't understand this way of eating. They don't understand, because if they did understand, they would be eating this way too. If they've had a major health experience shake their life to their core, they would be eating raw too. And so, because usually that's what it takes for us to actually change our ways, to change our health ways, is there has to be, it doesn't have to be that way, but it seems like a lot of us human beings don't change until something major happens in our lives and it shakes us to our core. So that's just one thing I think about a lot, is that, you know what, I feel tremendously wonderful eating this way. I am not changing for anybody, and I'm not letting this change my ways of eating. I am not changing just to fit into the social situation. I'm not going to change just for other people because they don't understand or they don't like it. Too bad. And you know, the longer you've gone through situations like that in life and everything, you just get to a point where, you know what, you say, I don't care, whatever. So hopefully, Nina, that answered your question. Hopefully this video helped you guys in some way. Maybe not, I don't know. This is just how it is for me. So remember to love being raw. Put a big old smile on your face today. I hope I did that for you, and I'll see you guys next video, okay? Bye, guys.